here. Okay. Hi everybody, welcome to another one of my videos. In this one, I wanted to talk about battling the old Jehovah's Witness mindset, because it's something that a lot of us have had to deal with coming out of a cult like that and false religion. And for myself, while I wasn't born and raised in the Jehovah's Witness, I was in there for 18 years total. At the time I left, that was half my life, so I'd say that's a significant amount of time that I spent in there. And that's a long time being told lies and learning from a disgusting so-called translation of the Bible. All the fear, guilt, and obligation that was drilled into my brain over the years. It's just like it can have a long-lasting effect. It's not easy to peel back away all the layers after leaving, but I am working on it. It's a slow process. Some aspects have been easier than I thought after leaving the Watchtower, but from having my brain molded and like trying to turn it into mush for so many years, it can be a bit of a challenge to help get it set back right again, So I wanted to talk about a few areas of the old mindset and, just what I'm working on and glad to be free of too. There's first one is fear. I don't have to live in the fear of, at least not their Armageddon that they teach, a twisted, made-up false idea that Watchtower has taught for so many years, and yet it never comes, it never happens. And they teach this violent genocide, only their members will survive. And they really ramp up the fear, and it's to keep the members loyal and obedient, and especially nowadays to keep them donating the money. I remember some of the old, stay loyal to the end. There was a special book they put out on it too. Oh, I forget the name of it. Keep Jehovah's Day in mind, something like that. They just keep you constantly worried about whether or not you're going to be found good enough to survive their Armageddon, and that fear that it could happen any day. Yet they've predicted dates and have been wrong. They're clearly false prophets. That's the main way I deal with that one nowadays. The Armageddon they teach is not correct. They are waiting. They have messed up their members so much, and I could say they are waiting for something that's not going to happen, or at least not the way that they teach that it will. So that's probably the biggest thing I'm happy to be free of. Another area I wanted to touch on is obligation. One of the obligations I think I'm the most happy to be free of is I don't have to go out in field service anymore. I don't have to go out on cold or hot days to go to people's door to try to push a false Bible and their stupid literature on people. I never brought any in because I never put a lot of effort into trying to push any people. I don't have to worry about going to 2 to 3 meetings a week anymore. Man, chewing gum and sucking a few hard candies just to stay awake. I think a lot, oh yeah, you know, sometimes the conventions and the assemblies, it was just more exciting to be able to go to another city and sometimes stay in a hotel than going to the actual assembly and convention itself. All the studying and the reading and the preparation you got to do. No more of that. Thank you. No more worried about all the judgment I might get from, the elders. Another area I wanted to touch on is the guilt. No more guilt. If there's a couple things that Watchtower is really good at, it'd be definitely those two things. Lying and ramping up the guilt on their members. Watchtower definitely knows how to build their members up and then break them down with guilt. Just how you're made to feel like you're never good enough, you're always being watched and judged, and like the others in your congregation or area waiting to rat you out if you slip up and do something wrong. And nowadays one of the ways they're really putting the guilt on is just asking for money, money, money. Like, keep giving them money. I don't have to worry about, nowadays I don't have to worry about everything I say and do and potentially being, ratted out by somebody, and no more guilt of whether I'm blood guilty of not going out in service and trying to bring others in. And standing at a cart saying and doing nothing, I wouldn't really call that putting a lot of effort into trying to bring new ones into your false religion. Another area is Jesus Christ. The JWs say that Jesus is a God, not the God. They teach that he's a created being. And like I'd say in the Jehovah's Witnesses, you don't get to know him the way that you should. You're taught falsehoods about him. And you're led to believe that you can earn your salvation by works, which is not the case. And worst of all, you're taught that he's supposedly leading and communicating with the governing body and, leading God's one true organization on earth. But you know what? I know I don't have to fear the Jehovah's Witnesses as a religion because, that's all bullshit. They're liars and false prophets. Another area, the name Jehovah. Now that's been hardwired into my mind, like only knowing their Bible translation the best. Unfortunately, the JWs know that Jehovah is a modern translation. Like, I knew that as a witness, that it's likely Yahweh. That's not the most accurate translation of the name. But I never really thought about it on a deeper level, which I would definitely encourage. Like, think about that on a deeper level. Like, why do other Bibles just translate it as Lord? But like for the Jehovah's Witnesses, like it was just always a conspiracy, and they like to brag that they restored the true name in the Bible, and that's a great thing. I was told an interesting thought on it, or I heard it a few months ago, a while back, that that some Bibles might have left out the name Jehovah, not so much as, and put Lord in there instead, not so much as a disrespect, but more out of a respect, because they thought, if that might not be the correct pronunciation, so maybe it might be just better to put Lord in there instead. That made sense to me. Like, I'm in my head, so there, you see how the JWs can really just twist it around to make you think that it's like always got to make themselves look like the good guys and every other religion the bad guys. And another area, the end. I did fear the end of the world as a Jehovah's Witness. Oh yeah, like as they teach it, yeah. In a way, yes, I looked forward to it as a Jehovah's Witnesses, not to see everybody die. No, like not in that kind of way. But I looked forward to a paradise Earth. But at the same time, there was whole like the worry that you're not gonna be good enough, or how much longer. And that's another thing. I didn't really think on it. I didn't really think deeper on it until later, because well, it'll come in God's due time, but I never thought deeper in the sense of like maybe they're wrong about Armageddon and the teachings that they have on it. But now, as after the JWs, I don't fear the end of the world, at least not as they teach it. I can definitely see more days now how they've got a persecution complex, because they're always, I know from some of their videos, and even actually seeing one at the convention, that the bunker ones where they're all in a basement and the police or army like finds them at the end. Like, I was at the convention when those videos were out, and the one where about the JW lady being turned into a pillar of salt. Like, remember the wife of Lot? That one? Yeah, I was there, and I just thought more like I didn't see it fully, even after those two video series, but now I do. They got a persecution complex. They're convinced that they're the right religion, so they believe that they're going to be singled out and put under the worst kind of attack from the rest of the world. And it's just, sorry, that's not the case. Could I say they need to humble themselves a little bit? Because it's actually not really. There are a lot that don't like you, but I don't think you're the kind of attack that you think you're going to be under Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't think is going to come to be not at the scale that you're expecting it, at least. And after the Jehovah's Witnesses, just sometimes I think of, there were a few Jehovah's Witnesses that I personally knew that grew old and died, waiting for this end to come. And nowadays I still believe that there will be some kind of end or apocalypse. But you know what? I can actually have more confidence and faith and hope nowadays about how I and the rest of the world, people in the world, might fare come that time, as opposed to being a former Jehovah's Witnesses, constantly worried about whether I'd be found good enough come the end. So those were the main points I wanted to bring out in this video, just that my getting rid of that old mindset, but I'm continuing to make progress. And I can see there's still a lot of layers to peel back in that, but you know what? I'm making progress. And that is, sorry, I just dropped my lid. Sorry, a new pen and the lid doesn't like to stay on. I think one of the key things I've learned is in battling the Jehovah's Witnesses mindset is, Jesus' sacrifice frees us. We don't have to try to earn it by our work. But with works, and we don't have to fear this horrible Armageddon where only Jehovah's Witnesses will survive. It's good to be free of that former mindset. It really is. Anyways, that's all I wanted to bring out for this video. Say in this video, I thank everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.